I always ask myself this. I want to ask you this as well. If there's one thing that you could change about yourself, what would it be? Because for me, I think I would if I could be more extroverted, I feel like I would be able to go further with my career and everything that I'm doing, because I would just naturally want to be meeting everyone, going to events, chatting to everyone, like just entertaining everyone. But to me, that's like it takes a lot of work for me to do that. And even sometimes before there's an event, I have to psych myself up to go because I just want to stay at home. So I have to, get myself prepared. And then I go and I do it, and I'm actually really happy after it's done because I went and did something I didn't want to do.
I would have liked to have tuned up the extroversion as well. Because
what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Christian here again. This time we're going to be analyzing the words from Mike Thurston. Now, this guy is at the top of his game, fitness influencer, multimillionaire, and yet here we have an example of somebody who says, hey, if I was an extrovert, I would be farther along in my business. Now, what do I think? Do I think that he's correct, or do I think that this mentality is something to be addressed? I think, in my opinion, that this mentality needs to be addressed and changed. Why? Because it doesn't make sense for somebody who's at the top of his game and has all of these achievements to be saying, hey, if I were a different person, that I would be farther ahead. It's almost like you're neglecting the fact that a lot of the successes that you have right now are because of who you are, right? And this is a problem that we run into a lot in Western society, where introverts are kind of shamed. They're kind of ashamed of the fact that they're introverts. They kind of wish there were something different. They look at different people who maybe are more extroverted and are more out there and think, okay, like those people have the special it factor that allows them to be successful. But you're not looking at yourself and saying, hey, maybe I have an it factor for myself that's allowing me to achieve all these things that I've achieved thus far. In my opinion, a lot of these thoughts start in childhood. But I think what a lot of introverts kind of miss is that the extroverts are lacking in certain things that we have as our fortes. Extroverts, because they're always inputting into the environment, they're always kind of like acting on the environment. They're very lacking in listening skills, right? As introverts, we are more inclined to be able to listen. We don't have to interrupt and act on something all the time. And that allows us to actually take in information, the whole information, and be able to process things a lot better, in my opinion. And that in itself can be a superpower. I don't think Mike Thurston is actually taking that into account. That part of the reason why he's such a successful YouTuber is because he's actually very observant. And that actually comes from his ability to kind of sit and think and observe, right? His ability to absorb, to take in. He doesn't need to actually act all the time. Another advantage he may have also is that he's able to be more introspective, right? When you're extroverted, a lot of the times you're always thinking about the outside. You're not thinking about the inside, right? The problems that you may have, the things that you want to change. And here we have an example of two people that are more introverted. That's why they're able to have this conversation about, hey, I thought about the things that I'm lacking, about the things that I can change so I can further my business. Sometimes extroverts, because they're always looking outside, it's almost like they're running in circles and they're interacting, and they don't take the time to kind of sit down and say, hey, okay, let me slow down and think about what I could do differently. Another disadvantage that extroverts may have also is sometimes they fall prey to having too many possibilities. Like they want to try out everything. They want to go left, right, try this out, try this project out. And this may cause them to have trouble finishing things. So extroverts that are plagued by this wealth of possibilities, they will start projects and quit halfway through, or they might start a project, get halfway through the project and get another project started. So it's kind of difficult for some extroverts to kind of organize themselves and see projects to its whole fruition. Another thing that I would say to Mike Thurston is that he got to realize too that he's comparing himself to the top 1% of extroverts around him as well. There's plenty of extroverts that never did anything of value or achievement. And you as an introvert has surpassed all of them. So you got to realize, you got to kind of like look behind you and realize that there's a lot of people that you outcompeted with your set of skills, and start to appreciate those. It's okay to say, hey, I wish I was a little bit more social, or that I didn't have such a barrier of entry to go into social situations. That's fine. But what I don't think is healthy is to say, hey, if I could change one thing, would be that I was extroverted instead of introverted. Because I think a lot of what makes your personality what it is that difference between introversion and extroversion is one of the main things, right? One of the main differences. So to say that you wish you were extroverted as opposed to being introverted is to actually admit that you wish you were kind of like a different person. And I don't feel like that is quite a healthy way of thought, and not something that I would recommend for anybody watching this video or watching that podcast specifically. Okay, if you're an introvert, you got to realize that your set of skills are your set of skills, and they're going to allow you to be successful in your own way. And it's better to embrace that as opposed to reject that. Okay, if you like this video, go ahead and like the video and subscribe. I'm going to be dropping more tips, guides, and reactions on how to take your personality to the next level and use it for self-development. Okay, so go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.